Hi everyone, this is Sharon from Sharon's Scrappy Space. I wanted to show you this technique that I've recently learned. I saw another demonstrator on YouTube do something similar. She used a Fifth Avenue floral rose, and it's such a beautiful technique, and I wanted to show you how I did it. Now I enhanced mine just a little bit differently, so it's not exactly the same technique, but it's pretty close. So I wanted to show you how I did that. First of all, we're going to be using Craft White Whisper ink. You've got to use shimmer cardstock with this technique, okay? And I'm going to be using this stamp. It's out of the Fast and Fabulous. It's a Hostess set that's in our current catalog. And you have to use the craft ink to do this, okay? So I'm going to just stamp 3 images here. Just like that. And then next what I'll do is I'll take my white embossing powder from Stampin' Up. All these products are from Stampin' Up. And just sprinkle it over. I probably should have used my embossing buddy before this, but it looks like it's going to come out pretty good. So I'll set this embossing powder aside. And let me get I'll use my piercing tool just to hold this in place because it'll get really hot. Okay. And I'm going to just keep applying heat to this until my image starts turning. And it'll kind of crystallize. It's starting to crystallize here. I don't know if you can see it or not. But it gets a shiny look to it. Okay, now I've got it embossed. Next, what I want to do is to spritz this with water. You want to have really good coverage with the water, and I soak it really well. And this one has some really small little places in it, so I work to make sure it gets in there and it stays in there. Now, I'm going to be using some Stampin' Up! Classic Re-Inkers. I'm using Old or More Mustard. This is Tangerine Tango. And then I'm going to be using... That was Pumpkin Pie. This is Tangerine Tango. Okay. And some Rich Razzleberry. Very pretty color. I just put 3 or 4 drops in. Now you can see my paper is kind of come bowing up here. And it kind of makes the water go out of my spot. So I'm going to use my aqua painter. This is something else that you can get from Stampin' Up. I'm getting some ink on there already, but that's okay because it's going to be completely covered. And I'm just going to start dropping it into my flowers. And if it bleeds out a little bit, that's okay. If it gets to be where it's a little too much, I'm just going to kind of dry it a little bit and pick up some of that water. But I kind of like the bleeding myself. And I'm just going to just keep adding color. This is something that it really takes a while. I'm just going to get a tissue and dab up some of this. It's a little bit too heavy. So see, it's pretty forgiving. Like I said, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I just keep on filling up these little flowers. And this is a layering type of effect. It's not something that's going to be a quick, not with this stamp set anyway. Some of the larger ones like the Fifth Avenue Floral, you can get away with, you know, a little bit. Get that. I'm going to start adding some more colors in here too. I just love the way it spreads out and just keeps getting richer as I go along. So you can see how it just kind of starts building up. And I have also found that, you know, I just start changing some colors. I often have to add water because I want it to spread. And I like the way it spreads, just kind of naturally. If it gets to be too much, just dab it. Like I said, this is just, it's a constant layering. And, you know, you just keep playing with it until you like the look of what you've got. And I love the way it gets a kind of a two-tone look to some of these flowers. You know, I just dab it off and then I start adding more colors and different colors so that I get a different shading to the flowers because I don't want them to be all just one color. You can kind of see how the colors are starting to come together. I'm going to mist this again because I want to start doing a little bit with the background and adding some color to that. And again, I like the mixtures of different colors. You know, this is not something that's a perfection type of project because it really is going to bleed and spill over, but that's what I like about it. You can get some pretty cool effects with this. And if I find it's just not bleeding quite enough, I'll add a little water. This is something that is going to really have to stay wet for it to be what you want it to be, you know. And this is just, you just play with it and it just keeps coming together, you know. I mean, I just keep adding more color to get more intensity as I go along. And this is something that you'll want to have it dry completely. So you'd probably want to let it sit out overnight in order to dry. In fact, even the next day on the last one that I just showed you, I actually did add some more color the next day. But you can kind of see how it starts coming together. And, you know, I like the way it's starting to look. And when it dries, it's not going to be quite as intense. And then you might start seeing, well, you might want to start adding some more color to it. But you can just keep playing with it. This is a really good technique if, you know, just to play with. Just to see what kind of colors, because no two are ever going to be the same. And I kind of like to get the rich raspberry. Also, you can move it around if you want to, just to kind of help. I'm going to dab that up a little bit. Okay, I've dried this and I've played with it. In fact, one of the things that I did once I dried it was I used my aqua painter. I wanted my flowers to be just a little darker. And so instead of wetting the whole thing, I just basically squeezed just a tiny bit of water out. And it's really mainly ink, but I wanted it to kind of disperse and have that watercolor look. So I let it, you can let it dry overnight, or you can go ahead and use your heat gun, and that's what I did. Now it started curling up, so I turned it over and went ahead and dried the back side, so it kind of helps it to not curl up so much. See how it's starting to help kind of flatten it out a little bit. One thing you'll want to do for sure, since it does curl up quite a bit, you'll want to use some really strong adhesive. And now I'm going to, let's see if I can find me I don't have a dry cloth. Let's see. Here's one. Dig it out of the trash. And basically, this is what I was talking about. You just go ahead and rub this across your image, and it'll help bring the white out of your ink. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned some stuff. You can also, you know, just play around with this just as much as you like. I love me some spritz, so I spritz it down really well because I like it to have that real shimmer look. You can kind of see how it gives it a really pretty shimmer. So I encourage you to give this a shot and try it and see how it works for you. It's really a lot of fun, and it's something that you can just keep playing with over and over until you get the desired effect. And although it does have kind of a bleeded look, I like that. So check out my blog at SharonScrappySpace.com for more ideas and tips on using Stampin' Up products. I would absolutely love to be your Stampin' Up demonstrator.